The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
Yeah, Earnestly Speaking podcast. Let's get it. I'm a giant in New York, in Miami carry heat. So much more in store, my product can flood the street. Opinion Nation Godfather, CEO. Puff in the late 90s, gon' see me blow. Oh, got my hustle on, no imitation of that. Army of untouchables, Opinion Nation staff. Never an off season, homie, check the numbers. Heart throb in my own right, supplying southern comfort. Earnestly speaking, my ego is well fed. Earnestly speaking, you're too feeble and no threat. See, I'm like a hurricane, you're a mild breeze. Earnestly speaking, leaving Eli a dynasty. Shake!
Earnestly Speaking podcast coming to you on August 31st, 2023. How you guys doing? We're gonna have my son on the show later on the back end of this podcast. My son Eli, he'll be on the show as we talk WWE. Actually, talk about WWE. It's a random conversation we had this morning on the way to school today that we decided to make it to content, and then of course we'll preview this weekend's WWE Payback premium live event, pay-per-view, whatever you want to call it. But how you guys doing? I'm doing well. Here another solo episode after about a week or so. I think the last episode was last week. I think it was a solo episode last Friday. I think it was. So anyway, couple things about here, of course. I've been really obsessed with nostalgia as of late, and this is not breaking news here. Everybody knows me. Knows I'm very much big into, old school and things of yesteryear. And it doesn't matter the genre. It could be music, it could be sports, it can be family, it could be anything, reality, politics. It doesn't matter, anything. But for some reason, I've been really diving in even more into the nostalgia thing as of late. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because of just feeling more melancholy, or feeling more like kind of like, I don't know, in my feeling. I don't know what it is exactly, but lately, especially, I've been really diving into nostalgia. YouTube is such a great way, especially too. YouTube is such a great place to, like, for content. For example, if you want to watch listen to old music or old videos or old like games and stuff, and you watch that, you dive into that. I've been one of the things I've done recently. First off, like you guys, I told you guys, I have two podcasts that focus on retro, on nostalgia and retrospective discussion talk, of course. My wrestling retrospective podcast, which I've had for about a little over a year, which I relaunched this summer, which we've been on a roll with that, for the record. We've been putting out content off that feed, for the last month and a half now, and she's like, I think we got in a groove there, and that's kind of helped also too. Is we've been having a discussion about old school wrestling. My basketball retro podcast, which I was going to launch this summer, going to kind of hold on to that and wait until the fall, maybe the winter time to really get on that. It really isn't basketball time right now, and really honestly, the schedule right now is not going to permit it because football is kind of really football's back now, and this time of year is content on this show, especially too, is going to pick up tremendously. So I don't want to burn myself out. Plus, I'm doing other shows on top of that too. Whole lot podcast I do every Tuesday. I'm still doing Take Wrestling every Thursday. So there's a lot going on. But we'll pick up on that show once things start teeter off in the winter. But nostalgia has been, to me, nostalgia for me has been like a safe place for me. Or safe space, want to call that. Call me kooky, call me crazy, call me, whatever. It's always been one of those things where, like, no matter what, no matter how I'm feeling, no matter how depressed I'm feeling, no matter how down I am at, no matter what is going on in my life, I always have those things to lean on, and nostalgia is one of those things where I always seem to, get in that space where, like, innocent time, if I watch old school wrestling, or I watch old TV shows, or watch old music, and or even with look at the pictures as of late. Like I was going through my phone and going through my cloud, and actually recently I was onto my computer this past weekend, and there's pictures I haven't seen in quite a few years that I have loaded on my computer. I've had since like 2011, 12 that I just load my computer and is just there to be stored at. And look at the old pictures of my kids, for example, especially my oldest kid, Eli, which again, he'll be on the show later on. And seeing him and see how much he's grown in 10 years, over 10 years. And it's like, wow, all this time is flying by. And I get into these deep dives of like seeing my kids when they were a year old, 2 years old, 3 years old, and now I have a 10-year-old and a 6-year-old, and things, just kind of fly by, naturally. And like, no matter what's going on in your life, because every day is the same repetition. You get up, you go to work, you go to school, you pay bills, come back home, do the same routine, dinner, But then you kind of get in that routine, and next thing you know, it's just like, wow, all this time's flown by, and all those years are built up. I'm now 43 years old now, and just thinking about yesteryear, whether it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30, 40 years ago, it's like, wow, all this stuff's built up and stored memory bank stored up. I know I've always been obsessed with nostalgia to some degree, no matter what. But I feel like recently for me, it's been like an overdrive. I love it. I can't help it. I don't think I'm ever going to change, because these are the things that, at the end of the day, it makes you feel good. It puts you in a good place, and it's the place where like it actually helps your mental health. I'm not going to knock it, So, nostalgia's awesome, man, and I have a lot of good memories with that. So I was thinking about this too on the podcast recently. So I told you guys last week was our first solo episode like this we've done in a while, over a month. And it got me thinking this week too, after that episode, like, what do I prefer? Do I prefer having guests on the show, or do I prefer having my own episodes? And I'm gonna be honest with you, like there are moments where like one outweighs the other. I remember when I started the show 12 years ago, and this show was literally just based on myself and my friends that came around to do the show. I was a tech degenerate, and then all my friends who would come over the house and would do the show. And it took me about 40 something shows before I actually got comfortable doing my own episode. I remember one time it was like around the Super Bowl of 2012. That was the Giants Patriots Part 2. I remember I decided on a whim just to like do a solo episode. Like I think it was 7 things that stood out, 7 things look forward to in the Super Bowl. And I just kind of winged it from there. I remember saying, this is actually kind of fun, because I didn't think I was able to hold down my own thing. I didn't think at that time I was ready to do my own show. Like I was comfortable doing radio and stuff, but I always did that with the thought of having a co-host or at least a litany of people around me to do it, or someone to bounce off of. Once I did that show in my 42nd episode of the show, that I felt comfortable saying, hey, I can actually do this, like more common. And it wasn't until probably, I would say, a year or two later, I started doing more regularly solo episodes. And I think what happened too, especially, I think once this show revamped into more of a variety thing, where like I was talking about not just sports, but also, other things, variety things. But, obviously, you guys know what we do in the show. We talk about a lot of things outside of sports. That's when I felt like, okay, yeah, I can drive this ship. And there's a point where like there's a good chunk of time where like I would do solo shows and that would be it. But I love the mixture of having a guest once in a while and whatnot. And I have a really healthy mix of both my own episodes, having the guests come on very common, the Zachs, the Big Jims, the Kyle Nashes, those guys. And then I have, of course, the round tables once in the blue moon. I have a nice healthy mix. I don't know if I at this time now, I prefer one or the other, because this summer I went guest heavy, and I haven't gone guest heavy in a while. Like when I think I started making like every show for a good chunk of time was like only guests on the show. You know what I'm saying? You always on this show get like mostly solo, especially in the last couple of years. You get mostly solo episodes, and then a guest episode in between that. And that's kind of been the whole thing, because it's always easy to me just jump in here in the studio and just kind of have what I want to talk about, have my list of things I want to talk about, and just riff and do 20, 30 minutes, 40 minutes of content. It's easy for me. It's like nothing for me to do that. But I have to admit, though, the last couple of weeks of doing the only guest on the show for a while was kind of fun, man. It was kind of fun again. It was kind of like going back to like kind of old school a little bit, having people to bounce off things. So I go hot and cold with that when it comes to guests and when it comes to solo episodes and all that kind of stuff. I love both. I really do. I truly do love doing both. Solo for me, I think from a therapeutic point of view, because it's only me, because it's only my thoughts. I would probably on that probably a little more, because ultimately when I have the opportunity to talk about things that I want to talk about that no one else really can share, but what I can say, I think that ultimately has more value to me personally from a therapeutic point of view. But both are awesome, and I think I love after 12 years where this podcast is at, where you have awesome guests from all sorts of backgrounds and topics and genres. And I mean, look at the guests we had in the last month alone. We've had everybody from politics, talking about conservative politics, to basketball, to NFL football, to just talking about like pop culture things and music and all this other stuff. I love it. I love it all. It's been great. And it fits the mission statement of the show, which is we just open, free-flowing conversation. And I'm glad this show has, changed. I don't say changed, but it's definitely broadened its appeal. There be shows where people who listen to the show solely for my personal discussions don't care about the football talk. That's fine. There'll be episodes where the people who care about football don't care about the political talk that's about here, and that's fine too. But there's always. But the thing is here on this podcast, no matter what, is there's always something for someone. There's always something to grab at on this show, and that's the one thing I will say I'm very proud of, is that I at least can say that I provide something to someone, no matter what, a value on the show. I don't go overboard with sports, overboard with the politics, overboard with, what I mean? I keep it, it's a nice, healthy balance of topics and guests and just discussion points here that we try to keep it leveled as much as possible. Like I said, the solo shows is great for me because of the therapeutic angle, but at the same time, having guests is also a lot of fun. And I'll say again, this last month of having guests on the show, roundtables and just regular, one-on-ones and whatnot, has been truly so much fun. So much fun. I'm going to continue on that moving forward. So, anyway, next thing here on the docket. You guys have probably seen this on as of late, in sports media. And it's funny, like, this is not necessarily a dead period anymore for sports because football's coming back now. But NBA basketball, obviously, was, season's already over, free agency already over. We're still about 2 months away from the start of the season. But the topic now, there's no more LeBron Jordan talk for the most part. That's cooled off. The new discussion for this summer, coming out of the summer anyway, has been the Magic Johnson versus Steph Curry debate. Who's the greatest point guard of all time? And you guys know, I am a massive Magic Johnson fan. He's my all-time favorite athlete in sports ever. To me, I have him ranked number 4 all-time on the NBA list of players. Behind Jordan, Kareem, and LeBron. But I'm a massive Magic Johnson fan, massive. And Steph Curry was on the Gilbert Arenas podcast recently, and they asked him if he's the greatest point guard of all time. And he said, yeah, I am. Is this being Magic, right? And basically said, yeah. Which I respect. I respect the fact that he put his name on it. Whether or not you agree with him or not, I respect the fact he put his name on it. And what is he supposed to say? That he's not? Like, you should always vouch for yourself. Because who don't want to vouch for you if you don't vouch for yourself. You know, and it wasn't no disrespect to Magic Johnson for him to say that. But here's what I say. Because I think Steph Curry is now a top 10 all-time player. I said this last year, 2022, when he won the finals, his fourth finals, and his first finals MVP last summer. That he was officially in the top 10 list for me, number 10. I wouldn't put him in a Magic yet. I was point guard. But I did say, like, a few times last year on the show that there can be a conversation to be had the more time goes and also the more titles he wins. Because the one thing I will say he has on Magic right now, obviously, is longevity thing. Now, granted, it wasn't that Magic got hurt. Magic retired because he obtained the HIV, HIV positive, and he had to retire from the Lakers in '91, and that was, he was up back and forth in the league for 5 years. But Magic, you can argue, retired still at the top of his game. Like, Magic was still in his end of his prime, and he was still arguably the second best player in basketball behind Michael Jordan when he retired. I mean, in fact, his team went to the finals that year as underdogs. So, a little tale of the tape here when talking Steph and Magic. I want to kind of talk about this a little more in detail, because I think it's important to kind of give both these guys their props. When it comes to NBA championships, Magic has 5, Curry has 4. Finals MVPs, Magic has 3, Curry has 1. NBA MVP awards, Magic has 3, Curry has 2, and one of those are actually a unanimous MVP. All NBA teams, Magic has 10. Curry, I think, has 8, because this list is from like a year ago. I think he made all NBA this year as well, too. All-Star appearances, Magic has 12. Curry has 9. Just 8 here. I think maybe this year again, too. It's 9. Total win shares, Magic has 158.8. Steph Curry is 120.2. And then this number here, career player efficiency rating, Magic is 24.1. Steph Curry is 23.8. So the case being made here is why Magic is ahead of Curry. Here's what I'll say about that. I'm definitely in the Magic camp of that. What I'm going to say, though, going forward, is that this is not a closed door conversation. I think if Curry wins another ring and he continues to play at a high level for another couple of years, it can be an argument. I do think because of the way Curry plays, the 3-point shot, everything else, the flashy. No, mind you, both guys are flashy in different ways. That Curry, it's more recency bias, of course, and what he's done, and I get that. I don't think people respect enough what Magic did. Bring the Lakers back. If we say, Magic had Kareem and up the gate, and Worthy a couple years later. But the Lakers were not doing. The Lakers were mediocre at that point. When Magic got there in '79, the Lakers were a mediocre team. Kareem had won another ring, other than the one he won in Milwaukee in 1971. Magic Johnson revived not just Laker basketball. He also revived the NBA as large. Him and Larry Bird together revived the NBA, saved the NBA from bankruptcy. Magic Johnson also, in the 12 years before retiring in '91, went to the finals 9 times. Won 5 of those finals. And to me, the impressive part of Magic Johnson, too, is also, with that, is that even the 4 losses that he obtained in those 12 years, think about those 4 teams he lost to in those finals. 83 Sixers. 84 Celtics. 84 Celtics. 89 Pistons. 91 Bulls. Those 4 individual teams can be argued as top 10, 15 singular teams all time. Not this era, but singular teams. 83 Sixers are one of the greatest teams of all time. People forget that. That's the 4-4-4 team. 89 Pistons. All-time great team. 84 Celtics. All-time great team. One could argue 91 Bulls on that conversation as well, too. So Magic Johnson was one of the greatest winners in a 12-year span that we've ever seen. Like, I said for years that I would put Magic's 5-4 record against Jordan's 6-0 record any day of the week, because to me, getting to the finals almost every year he's in the league is asinine. It wasn't like he had an easy path. The West was still pretty good back then too, in the 80s. Still had tough teams back there to deal with. So, to me, it's still Magic. Magic elevated so many teams, elevated the league. He's still a top 5 player all time, first off. But I will say, in Steph Curry's to his credit, it can be a conversation to be had in the years to come if he continues to play the way he's been playing. But for me, it's still Magic Johnson, and this is that. So, anyway, next thing here, NFL Plus. So I ordered that finally because NFL Plus existed now for I think 2 years now. I got the best news ever last week. After many years, the NFL is finally going to present Red Zone as a standalone purchase. No more do I have to order cable or order an extra streaming service to get NFL Red Zone. Finally, I can order NFL Red Zone through the NFL.com app, through the NFL Plus app that they started last year, or 2 years ago. When the hell it started? I have to pay for $15 a month for it. It's 2 tiers. There's a tier 1 for $7, which you get most of the stuff, content on their website, plus NFL Network. Tier 2, the premium tier, is you get all the content on the site, on the app, okay, plus NFL Network, and also NFL Red Zone. The best thing ever. I remember seeing that news 2 weeks ago, and I was blown away. I actually ordered it last week. Couldn't wait. I am beyond happy because for years, I mean, there were seasons where I couldn't get access to Red Zone because either someone who had cable didn't get it, or I wasn't able to watch it. I had to go to illegal streams to get it, or I just did without it for a couple of years. Or like last year, my buddy of mine, he had Sling, and what I did was I paid him to add the sports package to his service, so I have access to Red Zone, which worked out great for me. But at the same time, I hate doing that. I like to be in control of my own content. And finally, the NFL has finally did it, and they have now providing NFL Red Zone as a standalone after all these years. God bless you, NFL. God bless you for doing it. I'm so happy. I'm beyond happy, beyond ecstatic about this. It's even more excited about the season. And again, I don't mind paying $50 a month for it. I don't, because I'm going to use it. You know, because I don't really like going to games anyway. That's the one sport where I don't enjoy going to games. That's one sport where I enjoy being home watching. I don't enjoy. I truly don't enjoy going to football games. I really don't. That's the one sport that doesn't translate as well to me in person as it does on television. And Red Zone, only now confirms that and to be able to have it now to where I could just pay for it up front, be done with it. It's going to be awesome. And I don't mind paying out of pocket for things like this. Just give me the access, and I'll pay for it. I've been saying for years. I remember saying a couple of years ago that I'll pay $20 a month for it. If you provide the service, I'm going to pay for it because I love football, and now they make it easier, and I really, really, really appreciate that. And I think this is going to be the death knell for a lot of these streaming services too, like Sling and YouTube TV. Well, YouTube should be okay because I have the Sunday Ticket, but all the cable networks that had that were the gateway to Red Zone, this is going to hurt now. So last thing we got here before I bring in my son Eli to discuss some things here. College football technically started last week 0, but this weekend's the first full weekend of the season. I'm actually, as we're recording this, we're watching the Utah Florida game. Utah right now is blowing them out. So before we start, the season, I didn't have a chance to have someone come on and do a preview, and I got inspired by, doing a whole lot of podcasts with my guys, Kyle, Matt, and Jim, Tuesday. So I'm just going to give my predictions for the season, Basically, this is my conference winners and my my playoff predictions for this coming season. So as I'm bringing up the entire docket here, let me see if I can find it right here. Okay, right here. So my Big Ten champion, I have Michigan winning the Big Ten again for the third straight year. This is going to be Harbaugh's year. AC champion went straight homer in this one. I got my Florida State Seminoles winning the ACC this year after a down quite a few years, actually, about 6-7 years. My SEC champion, Georgia, of course. I don't see Georgia letting up this year. Obviously got Alabama hanging around, of course. LSU was supposed to be really good, but I think Georgia's going to win the SEC once again. Pac-12 champion, I have USC in probably the last year of the Pac-12 as is. Big 12 champion, I have Texas. This one's tough, though, Big 12, because this is wide open. It could be anybody. It could be K-State. It could be Baylor. It could be Oklahoma if they put it all together this year. But ultimately, I decided to go Texas because it's not even. I can't even say it's trendy because honestly, I just want something different. Texas has been downtrodden for a long time. So, my Heisman Trophy winner, gotta go Caleb Williams once again. I don't really know who else I can really should I go Homer and Jordan Travis, Florida State? Who knows? The LSU quarterback, somebody I could look into as well. But I'm gonna go chalk and go Caleb Williams here. As for the college football playoff, which will be the last year of the 14 playoff before we go to 12 teams next year, Rose Bowl, I have Georgia against Florida State, 1-4, with Georgia winning that game. And then the Sugar Bowl, 2-3, I have Michigan against USC, with Michigan beating USC in the Sugar Bowl. And, of course, the national championship game, Georgia against Michigan, I have Michigan as the national champion. So, in the great words of the fantastic and great Pat Summerall, there will be no three-peat. Michigan will win its first national title since, I believe, was it 97? I think 97 was the last time they won a national title. And you guys know Michigan's my number 2 team behind Florida State. So hopefully that does play out. Assuming Florida State doesn't make it to the final four and national title game. So anyway, that'll do for me here on this podcast. Let's bring in my son now to talk some WWE and enjoy. Okay, this segment, we're joined now by my eldest son, 10-year-old Eli Christian. Eli, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, so today we're going to be talking about WWE. So we're going to talk about the top 30 greatest superstars in all of WWE. And we're going to do a preview and aka predictions of what's going to happen on Payback.
I love how you intro the entire thing like I'm not the host of this episode. Like you're sitting there like act like you're the host already. I'm the host of this episode. You're the guest, okay?
Okay.
So no, this stemmed from a conversation we had on actually this morning, Eli, on the way to school. We were driving, and our drive was very short, like 5 minutes, like less than 5 minutes. But you randomly also started asking questions about like, is this guy a top 30 guy? Was it top 5 first? I think you said top 5.
Top 30.
No, but you say top 30 first, or you say top 5 first, or top 10 first? I thought it was top 5 first, and I said no, this guy's probably top 30. Anyway, so you were talking about guys that like are top guys in the history of WWE, and it spawned a conversation in the car in less than 5 minutes of random wrestlers. You started to name off any random wrestlers that are either wrestling now or yesteryear, and I kept telling you, you asked me, and I said, okay, well, this guy's probably a top 30 guy, and is that some guys are pretty obvious, like Hogan and Cena and Austin, but then other guys that are kind of like on the cusp, guys that you may consider but are not. So,
all right. So number 1, who I think it is.
Okay, so you're gonna ask me the question. You're gonna name wrestlers to me, right? You're gonna name wrestlers and random wrestlers, and you'll tell me if I think they're a top 30 guy all time. Okay, ready to go? Go ahead. Name who's the first one.
So first one, I think Hulk Hogan.
Well, that's easy. He's probably top 3. Top 2, 3. He could be argued as the greatest WWE star of all time because considering he's the reason wrestling exists today, right? The way it is today on a mainstream platform. We don't get WrestleMania without Hulk Hogan. WrestleMania was created around Hulk Hogan and his personality. So yeah, Hulk Hogan definitely a top 3 guy. No, we're not going to order. Just name that random guys, because doing order you have to really sit and do a list actually. But maybe one day, maybe sometime next year we'll do an actual list.
I was just thinking of one. I think Kofi Kingston, he has a lot of history. I've watched him. He's been there for a couple years by now.
Oh, more than I said more than that. 15 years at least 15 years.
And I think he is a part of the 30 greatest wrestlers of all time.
I would disagree. Kofi is fantastic. Now, if you're going to say New Day, I think New Day has a case to be in the top 30 all-time list of mixture of tag teams and solo guys.
Okay, but here's the thing.
Okay, make a case.
Xavier Woods, if you're talking New Day, Xavier Woods is new. He wouldn't be a part of it because he's kind of new. He hasn't been there for years.
No, he was there. He, if I'm not mistaken, he started New Day with E and Kofi in 2014, 2015. Now, granted, Kofi was there before that, but I'm just saying, as a solo act, Kofi would not be a top 30 guy.
Correct, but now we're going to go to Big E. Big E, yes, he has been probably.
No, he's not top 30 either, in my opinion.
No, he has history. AKA, from what I've seen, the longest history that I've watched, he's been with Dolph Ziggler.
But here's the problem with that, though. WWE has existed, and this is just under Vince McMahon. Forget his dad before Vince took over in 82. WWE has existed for 40 years under Vince McMahon. There's a lot of guys that you don't know. You may not know, though. You don't even consider, but would probably be obvious top 30 guys. So guys like E and Kofi, like if we're going to talk New Day as a group, I would argue that the top 30 act all time. I would argue as a group. As solo acts, though, I would not consider them top 30.
Okay, fine. Then here's the number 2. Triple H.
But that's easy. He's top 30, easy. He's probably borderline top 10. Like, we had this conversation on this podcast, I think 2 years ago. On my other podcast, I did an episode, around Randy Orton, and we were discussing, does Randy Orton deserve to be a top 10 all time? And to me, it came down to him and Triple H for top 10 consideration. Triple H is probably a top 10 guy all time. He's arguably one of the greatest heels in history of the company. And the work he's doing, not just in ring, but also now being head of creative too, especially. Yeah, his impact on the business, especially in the last 25, 30 years, cannot be comprehended, cannot be explained. He's just that great. So he's definitely a top 30 guy.
So now, if we're saying Triple H, then I know Shawn Michaels, but we gotta go a little farther than that. We gotta go Randy Orton.
Yeah, he's easy top 30. Easily top 30. That's easy. Again, another guy that's considered arguably top 10 also too, arguably.
Number 4. This just came in my head. Kurt Angle.
Yes, Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle's the only thing that might hurt Kurt Angle was he wasn't there. Like, so for what I remember, he was there for about 4 or 5 years, maybe 6 years. They went to TNA for a little while too. But Kurt Angle's one of the best performers, and he found a way to stand out at a time where you had Austin, you had Rock, Triple H, of course, and Mick Foley, and he found a way to carve a niche to where he was, the whole "you suck" thing and all that. He's special. No, he's definitely top 30.
Yeah, of course. Like really. Okay, let's.
By the way, you're eating my podcast. Don't eat my podcast.
Okay.
Eating pretzels here while I'm doing the show. What's going on with you?
Okay. Anyway.
Like you don't care.
What was his name? He was part of the X Generation.
Generation X, you mean? You're thinking about not Shawn Michaels, right?
Not Shawn Michaels, not Triple H. The other one. What was his name?
Well, you had Shawn Michaels, Triple H. You had the New Age Outlaws.
Yeah.
X-Pac.
I
wouldn't put him top 30. He's great what he does, but I think you have so many great wrestlers in that era, and even after that. Like if this list started in 2002, maybe I'd say top 30, but not 2023.
Now we gotta put some women in. Charlotte Flair.
Charlotte Flair has an argument made top 30. I would say yes. She's probably the most impactful female wrestler in the history of WWE.
Now,
Arguably.
if we're putting Charlotte in, why not put her father, Ric Flair?
Okay, so this is me complicated. I think when you brought us up to me in the car this morning, so Ric Flair is arguably top 3 all-time pro wrestling, no matter what promotion it is. Okay, arguably the greatest of all time. Ric Flair in WWE though is not top 30. Ric Flair's impact came in WCW and NWA. He had a run in WWE in 1991, a year and a half. It was okay, underwhelming though, and that's Vince's fault actually. To be honest with you, okay. He leaves 93, goes back to WCW. He comes back in 2002, and he's not the same guy. He's very older. He's already past his prime. The only thing I say that saved his career. The only thing that he did really significant in WWE really was evolution with Triple H and Randy Orton and Batista, which obviously got those guys over. His experience got him over. But if I told you Ric Flair, WWE top 30, no, I'm gonna put him in the top 30.
Okay, let's go with the zigzag. Dolph Ziggler. He has some history. He's been there, kind of like Randy. Not gonna lie, he's been there.
Okay. So Dolph Ziggler, you know, what's funny? Like, so I didn't get to experience Dolph Ziggler's peak in the aughts in 2009, 10, 11, 12. I'm gonna say no, but there's an argument to be made for it, though. I will say. There's an argument made for it. I would say no, because there's so many great wrestlers has come since. If this thing cut off in 2015, I might have said yes. But there's been so many great wrestlers in the last 7-8 years. And Dolph Ziggler's relevance in WWE in the last, let's be real, last couple of years has been on a downward spiral now.
Didn't you know Dolph Ziggler was a part of the Primetime Players? Is that what their name was?
I don't know exactly what he was part of, but you know, Dolph was good, man. I think he's very underrated. I think Dolph has a place there, and I like Dolph Ziggler. I've always liked him, but I don't know if I put him top 30.
Okay, fine.
Oh, you burped my microphone now. What the hell?
Sorry.
Disgusting.
Okay.
It's not like Vince McMahon. Disgusting.
Okay. Should we put Bobby? He's been there since 1990.
Who?
Bobby Lashley.
Bobby Lashley, top 30.
He's been there for some time by now.
2005.
Yeah, since 2005.
I'm leaning no.
That's because you haven't seen him. You haven't seen him all the time.
But again, you're looking at a company of 40, longer than that, really, think about it. But under Vince McMahon's rule, 41 years. And you've had some great wrestlers, some great stars come to the promotion that you're not even considering. Bobby Lashley, I would say, if I said top 50, yes. I think he can be considered top 30. I wouldn't put him there, though. He's probably close to 40 for me.
Okay, fine. So, like, 35? Top 35?
Okay, maybe. I mean, again, it's tough.
Okay. So, because you're saying a no to a lot of these, I gotta go all the time. Owen Hart.
I want to say yes. Because he was misused. He should have been a world champion. Especially at a time where that roster back in the mid-90s was so top-heavy. Like, you had Shawn Michaels, Taker, you know, Diesel, of course. Diesel, you know, other guys of that nature. Race Ramon. But then you had Owen Hart, too, also. Owen Hart could have arguably been made a world champion. My heart says yes, to be honest with you. He's had some tremendous matches legendary matches. Him and Brett at WrestleMania 10. Him and Brett also at SummerSlam 94, I think it was 94. He's had some fantastic matches. Like he'd be on the cusp of 30. Honestly, he'd be like on the border. Like the people probably say no, and I'd be okay with that too. Also, but I think his impact in that era cannot be understated. So I'm going to say yes.
Okay. Good. Rest in peace, Owen Hart.
Damn right.
Rest in peace, Eddie Guerrero. One of the greatest high flyers with another one of the greatest high flyers. Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero.
Oh, I'm going to say yes. And this is crazy because like he wasn't there a long time. He died like only a couple years into WWE. He came to WWE I think 2001, 2, because he's WCW. But those 3 years of him at the E, very impactful in a transition for WWE too. Also from Attitude to Ruthless Aggression era, he laid a mark. Personality wise, influence, you name it. I'm gonna say yes on Guerrero, top 30.
All right, good. Now we're gonna go to early, like now wrestlers, because I know there's a couple of the greatest one of them. So I gotta go. Should we go? What was his name? What's his name?
Think.
Okay. One of the greatest, I think personally, and you have to say yes. That is Seth Rollins.
Yes, he's easily top 30. In fact, this run here now, especially too, this run he's going on now, might put him top 15 for me. Top 20, top 15 for me.
Like, back then, I hated him as the,
Architect?
yeah, babyface.
I can't stand babyface with Seth Rollins.
But I did kind of like him in Shield, not gonna lie, with that betray and all.
Betrayal?
Yeah. You know, that betrayal was kind of the same thing as Sammy, not gonna lie. If you look at it with the chair and all, when like Roman's like distracted, Seth hits the chair, Dean Ambrose is not even paying attention either. Wow, we got Roman having the honor to use Sammy hitting the chair to Roman. And like, look at the reaction to Roman. They're both on their knees, very slow. Like it doesn't even hurt.
Yeah, that was on purpose. You know that. They did that to reenact the Shield. They did that on purpose.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
But yeah, Seth Rollins to me is a top 20 guy. The way he's going, he might be a top 15 guy. He's a Grand Slam champion. He's held every title there. He's been there a little while now. To me, he reminds me a lot of Randy Savage. Like he's not a number 1 guy in the company, but he's definitely a clear number 2, number 3.
Let's put Sammy. He has history. Sammy.
Sami Zayn?
Yeah.
I'll say no to that. No to top 30.
Okay then, Jay Uso. He's been there for a long time. Okay, if he is cousins with one of the legends, The Rock, which I'm putting in, which of course you would say yes, and you know he's like he like used to put on makeup and all, and he's with the tribal chief, which I hate.
We don't do that in this house. Like in this house, you acknowledge tribal chief.
No, I don't like it.
No, your mother's gonna kill you.
I don't care. Anyway, Jay has to be there. He is one of the greatest high flyers. He is, good at what he does. He does super kicks, clean. I do some myself because I kind of wrestle on my bed and all. But I like the way Jay does it and Jimmy, because I'm playing both the Usos. They're both extremely good. And I hate that Jay's retired. Like, ever since SummerSlam, I don't know what happened to Jimmy. The last time I saw him was when Jay super kicked him.
We'll cover that in the Payback preview. Jay, I'll say no. But Jay also, calm down. You're way too dramatic right now, buddy. but Jay also falls in the same thing of Kofi Kingston and Big E. If you're talking about Uso's tag team, definitely top 30. If you're talking about Jay Uso by himself, he's barely been solo. He's barely been solo, what couple matches? That's it.
I just said that. Jay and Jimmy. I just said that.
Right. So if you're saying the Usos as a group, they're definitely top 30 for me. They're arguably the greatest tag team history of WWE. Arguably.
Miz.
Miz?
Yes, he's been there. He's one of the greatest IC champions.
I'll be honest with you. I think Miz is top 30. The Miz, honestly, is one of the greatest mid-card wrestlers in history of pro wrestling. And that's not even an insult because, again, I'm the guy that says the mid-card matters. Part of the reason why the New Generation era is looked down as a negative for WWE is because of the fact that the mid-card was a mess. They were heavy on top, but the mid-card was a mess. The Miz was the first guy in many years that made the Intercontinental Championship mean something. I just did a list with my friend Duke on my other podcast this week. We ranked our top 10 IC champions all time. I ranked them number 2.
Shinsuke.
It wasn't a list. You make the list.
All right.
So let's listen to that podcast one day. Go ahead. Anyone else?
All right.
Let's give out 5 more wrestlers, then we go to the preview.
Wait, I already said
The Rock? The Rock's easy. Probably top 5. Next.
John
Cena? Easy. Next.
Roddy
Piper? Yeah, he's top 30. Absolutely top 30.
Bret
Hart's top 10. Easily. Come on now. Show some respect. Let's do the 2 or 3 more.
Bianca
Belair? I'll say no for now. But she's trending that way. She's only been on the main roster a couple of years. But she is trending top 30. In fact, she's trending probably top 20 right now. And if you go female wrestlers, she's probably already in the top 10, 15 list already.
Macho Man.
Top 10 all time. Come on now. My all-time favorite. You know this.
Yeah, I know.
Let's do 2 more. Let's do 2 more random ones.
Roman. Roman has history. He's a champion for almost Hulk Hogan's record.
Dude. You know this house we acknowledge Tribal Chief.
I hate him. I have to put him. Okay.
He's easily top 10. Roman might be top 5. And Roman's entering the Hogan, Cena, Austin area now, where like he's in that elite, iconic superstar. So easily, last one more.
Hang on, I got a couple more.
Hey, hurry, go do the preview.
All right. So Ultimate Warrior.
Top 30, yes. Oh, I hate him.
Finally, Booker T.
Can you dig it? Sucker! No, I'm joking. Booker T? I'll say yes, but it's not a lock. A lot of his great work was actually done in WCW, actually. But I'll say yes, because can you dig it, sucker? You know what I'm saying? Okay, so before we get going, and Logan, do not do that. No, it doesn't work. All right. Here we go. I didn't see you unpause that real quick. Oh, wait. You're messing up my thing here. I gotta edit this up. No, I'm not gonna edit it. Screw it. So, Payback is this Saturday, rather. You'll be awake for that, right?
Yep.
Don't have to behave yourself. This is the first match here. First match, Steel Cage. Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus.
Becky. There's no way. So I saw a match, half of the match, Becky Lynch versus Zoe Stark. No, any fall match? Is that what it was called? Any fall match is like where you can pin anywhere.
It's pins count anywhere.
All right. I think Becky's going to win. It makes sense to the story. It actually does. Not going to lie.
All right. I will also go Becky as well, too. All right, here's the title, his championship match here. This is probably gonna be the main event, I imagine. Seth Rollins and Shinsuke Nakamura for the World Heavyweight Championship. Who wins it?
Seth?
Yeah.
Seth. But
There's a but. There's always a but.
Damian Priest gonna cash in, and I'll tell you why. Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins, SummerSlam. I still kind of think Finn and Seth still have it. So, Finn Balor, I think Damian's gonna break up with Finn Balor because Finn Balor's gonna steal it, and then he's gonna cash in, and then we're gonna swap around. I think Shinsuke's gonna win now because of Finn cashing in. Then Damian Priest is gonna beat him up. Finn up. I think that's just mine.
So you're saying that Damian Priest will walk away as champion? That's for this pay-per-view.
Yeah.
All right. I like it. I'm not surprised, actually. All right. Women's World Championship. Rhea Ripley against Raquel Rodriguez. Rhea. But I will say, keep an eye on Raquel. That this is Raquel's first opportunity to become the next thing, the next woman on the roster to bloom. So keep an eye on this one. This is a huge match for her.
And if anyone has the woman's Money in the Bank, because I don't remember.
No, Io Sky has it.
Wait, what? Oh no! She cashed in.
No. That's right. She did cash in. She cashed in SummerSlam. Remember? Yeah. I forgot about that. Thank you. That's real good for that one. Nice. All right. Your boy. Okay, Rey Mysterio against your boy Austin Theory for the U.S. Championship. Your boy Austin Theory.
I hate Austin Theory.
No, you don't. Shut up.
So I'm going with Rey Mysterio, the greatest high flyer of all time. Austin Theory is just nothing. Oh, I do have a question. And I want you guys to let me know in the comments.
Whatever the comments are.
I want to know if the Austin Theory and Vince McMahon thing is still going.
What? No.
Remember the whole Austin Theory and Vince McMahon thing?
What about it?
Does it still go, or is it?
No, Vince is not on TV anymore, so no.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah. Vince is still there, but it's not on TV. I'm gonna go right here too as well. By the way, I'm also going Rhea as well, so in the last match. The match I'm most looking forward to this whole night. The Miz against LA Knight. Yeah.
LA Knight. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. That's a really good match, not gonna lie. But you know what else would be a good match? The Miz versus MJF.
Yeah, that's gonna happen though. One's in AEW, one's in WWE. Come on now.
Okay. Anyway.
I can see the Miz winning by disqualification, like by some shenanigans, because this feud can go a little while.
Yeah, actually, yeah, but I'm just gonna watch the match. I can't root for because I don't know. I have no idea, because there's a couple matches I don't know, but this one's a real tough one because.
Just say LA Knight, yeah.
No, I don't know. I love them. Actually, I love LA Knight more. But, I don't know.
Miz is awesome, right?
No.
Shut up.
You know what? My main guess from 50-50, I gotta say LA Knight. I have to.
Yeah?
'Cause,
Yeah? All right, last match here. It is the Steel City Street Fight for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship. It is Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Judgment Day of Finn Balor and Damian Priest.
KS, a.k.a. Kevin and Sammy.
Yeah, I see that too. Do we see the Judgment Day break up tonight? This night?
From now I see that there's that match.
It also depends on match placement too. Also, when they put this match up.
If KO and Sammy do win, yeah, I could see them breaking up because they had problems during the Seth and Finn match, Raw or SmackDown.
All right, so there you go. All right, guys, that's just a preview. I also got the Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. So Eli, good job as always.
Alright, yeah. Alright, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you.
Listening.
I'll see you.
There's no video on this one, buddy.
Okay, I don't care.
Your hear was in place anyway, so.